Hi everybody, I'm Clinton. I'm the new executive director here. You've seen me all over the place, but I am excited to talk about this shelf, our disco section. This is where you'll find a lot of the disco musical classics. You got your Xanadu's, which is my favorite movie of all time, Saturday Night Fever, Roller Boogie, Can't Stop the Music, Thank God It's Friday, all the great musical disco classics. But we also have several obscurities that maybe you hadn't heard of, and I'd like to talk about a couple of those. First up is this little VHS masterpiece called Fast Black, aka Disco 9000. There's a great write-up about this on the Outlaw Vern website that I highly recommend reading, but this is a classic piece of blaxploitation crossed with disco. It's interesting because there's not a lot of action in it. It really is about Fast Black, who is the main character, is the manager of a disco 9000, which is on the top floor of a skyscraper. Honestly, the story really is about the difficulties of managing a discotheque and staving off the horrible white people who are trying to take over and make him play shitty music. The soundtrack is all by Johnny Taylor, who's actually a classic funk and soul musician. He did the song Who's Making Love, one of my favorites. So it's not a disco vibe as much as more of a funk and soul kind of vibe. Also, it's the only other film directed by D'Urville Martin, director of Dolomite. So it has that kind of quality to it. Another one that is really great right here next to it is one of the only Travolta-sploitation movies in existence, The Face with Two Left Feet. It is about a young man who looks like John Travolta, which he only discovers after somebody draws a beard and glasses, or a mustache and glasses on a poster of John Travolta.
It's my caricature, so what?
But it's Travolta, you meathead. It's John Travolta.
And they realize it looks just like the main character, and then he becomes John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever John Travolta specifically, and he goes off to woo a young lady who's the DJ at the neighboring dance club. The DJ is played by La Cicciolina, the famous Italian adult film star, who then became a member of parliament and once offered to sleep with Saddam Hussein for world peace. So she's awesome. This is the film I wanted Saturday Night Fever to be when I first saw it. I wanted it to be a goofy comedy with disco in it, and instead I got a gritty 70s masterpiece. So I'm not unhappy about that, but if you're looking for that goofy Saturday Night Fever experience, highly recommend this one. Also, it is Italian, but it's dubbed in English, which makes it a little bit more special in my opinion. A last one in here that I recently watched for the first time, but I'd heard about for years that was fantastic, is this VHS gem, Nocturna.
Nocturna is out for blood, fresh, young blood.
This is about a disco vampire. She is the granddaughter of Dracula.
I'm the granddaughter of Count Dracula,
who's played by an 80-year-old John Carradine, who may not be sure what movie he's in. Nocturna doesn't do much for her grandfather in this film. Instead, she becomes seduced by humanity. She discovers the joys of disco and how that leads her to want to be more human, and she tries to break away from her vampire heritage, which Dracula is not very happy about. The music in this features Gloria Gaynor and Vicky Sue Robinson, but you can't really tell because there's one or two songs and they're both pretty terrible. But there are a couple of great musical performances in this that I highly recommend. And overall, it's just a fun, weird, almost like a vanity film kind of project. Highly recommend it and super fun. So that's just a few of the films in our disco section. Get your disco on. Come on in and dance it out.